Well, we're back again in the zone. I'm actually very privileged again that I have this chance to have Dato Sri's audience. And you know who Dato Sri is, our lead bird, our upline, our grand upline, our teacher. I always call it the 001. So Dato Sri, welcome in the zone again. As today's topic actually, it's a privilege to ask you, which actually you taught us more than 20 years ago, you taught me personally, in fact, the topic called Trespass. All right, so today we want to discuss about Trespass because in network marketing, it's relationship building business. It's a business that built on trust. What I came to learn that Trespass is very important and a very important fundamental of building a business. So the first question would be obviously for them, I think, they would like to know what is trespass, how does it work actually?
The law of trespass is the act of you giving a permission for someone to come onto your property or your land. That's the law of trespass. If you don't give them the right to entry into your land, then they're trespassing. Are you with me? So you will see there are signs outside many homes, particularly in the UK and so on. Trespassers will be prosecuted. 50 years ago, it used to be trespassers will be shot. In the US, very clearly, trespassers will be shot. So the objective here is to give you the right of passage into your mind, into your lives, into your reasoning, so to speak. So when you go to school, you give the right to your teachers. It's implicit, when you pay your school fees, alongside with that comes this right. When you're working, again, the right is given by virtue of your salary, your job description, and so on and so forth. In the network, the right has to be established. It's hard to do so because for most of the networkers, this is something that they take very personally, their independence. So what they fail to realize is that independence comes from a process, and the process is, in essence, starts with dependence. In other words, another favorite saying of mine is fake it till you make it, right? So if you want to ride a bicycle, you cannot just jump on it and ride. If you have never ridden, you will fall almost virtually instantly. It takes many trial and error. You can have the belief in yourself. Belief by self is not enough. Belief is when you're watching somebody ride a bicycle. Now you believe that person can ride it because you can actually see the person ride the bike. Are you with me? That's belief. Trust is interesting. Trust is when the person says, you get on the bike. Are you with me? Now that is a different situation because now you need to trust. Earlier you believe by watching, but trust is when you put yourself on the line. So trespass is basically that process. You will start your learning curve with whoever it is that is guiding you, leading you, so on and so forth. Believing that the person is right is not enough. The act of trespass means you are now learning to trust that person. You're giving that trust to that person. Are you with me? So if someone's on a bicycle going to teach you to ride, you get on the bike, but he's holding the bike. And you're trusting that he's going to hang on there for a while until he learns to let you go. So that process of trespass is when belief changes to trust. Are you with me? Yes. So we can all believe it's okay. This is my upline. He's making money right now. This is my boss. This is my professor, lecturer, so on and so forth. That's the belief. Trust is when you allow that person to actually come and correct you, change you, challenge you. That process is where trespass is required. And if trespass is not given, there's no learning. You can be in the same class, you can be in that same lecture hall, you can be being taught by the same teacher, but when you don't give trespass, your mind is shut. So therein lies the problem. It's all internal. Are you with me? And trespass is the single most important step leading to independence. Trespass begins with dependence. Unique as it is, trespass begins with dependence but leads to independence. Are you with me? So that's the process.
Okay, thank you, Azri. Another question is that why is it so tough to give trespass to somebody who's opposite? Somebody who's, you cannot get along, whatever, but you have to make it happen in the business. So how does that work?
Well, trespass is important because, you do not have to give trespass in all things. Are you with me? When I say grant trespass to a teacher, a guide, a mentor, there is a specific area of your life that you need that guidance in. If it's your driving instructor, then you're giving him trespass to teach you to drive, not giving him your bank account details. Big difference. Are you with me? Trusting him to teach you to drive is one thing, but giving him trespass in all details of your life is not required. Now, trespass has to be limited to your specific area of interest, your specific area of growth. So then it doesn't matter whether you like the person or don't like the person. What you have to like is the skill. What you have to like is the process that you want to acquire. And in order for you to get that process, perfect it and get better, you have to be sure that that person who you're giving trespass to, in that area of your interest, he is good. That's all that's relevant. Are you with me? Now, if he basically has personal issues in terms of clashing with his wife, this, that, and the other, irrelevant as far as you're concerned, because you are looking at what he has done in your area of interest. So in terms of networking, if the guy is picking up a big check on a regular basis, you know he has done well. You see him go up on stage and speak and raise a whole crowd of a few thousand people just like that, you know that's what I want. So you cannot have trespass in all things. You have to be specific in the areas of expertise that you want to acquire. And then you give the trespass accordingly. But having given the trespass, make sure to follow through. Make sure that you are implementing everything that you are supposed to implement. Are you with me? That is the critical point. Don't judge the person. Judge the activity that you want to learn.
And another one, I remember you taught us that trespass has to be both ways. It's not only one way. So I just want you to elaborate on that.
Well, on one hand, when you give trespass to an individual in order to learn, it's also important to recognize that the person actually wants to teach you. Are you with me? It's important also that you, on your hand, you're giving the person the right to get into your life, to get into whatever that needs to be corrected. At the same time, the teacher, the mentor, also basically has to give you the right that you get as a student to question, challenge. If he doesn't want to be questioned, then he is the wrong person. You want to be able to present any other question to him directly, indirectly, in any fashion. You must have that right. You must have that relationship. So in upline, downline relationship, it's automatic. Are you with me? Now, in a corporate relationship between boss and employee, sometimes it takes a while. But the boss has implicit trespass by virtue of the job description. You have to earn the respect in order to have trespass with him or her in terms of authority and questions. Are you with me? It's a slower process. But in networking, it's very clean. Trespass has to be both ways, up line, down line.
Thank you, Dato Sri. Dato Sri, I believe in the audience also, there are a few questions. We can start with Mr. Ashok here.
Hi, Dato Sri. Thank you for your feedback and for sharing. With regards to self-improvement, is it important for someone to tell you where it hurts the most, or is there a less painful way?
I don't know that that a skill sometimes is necessary. Truth always works, in my opinion. Sometimes it takes a longer time for a person to accept the truth, but if you are telling him the truth, correcting him, and you are being truthful in whatever you're saying, you're not making it personal, you're not making it malicious, you're making it directed towards the truth of the matter, then the person who you're dealing with, even though he or she might get hurt, inevitably, that's part of the process. They will come to recognize that, okay, I did get hurt, but he's right. This is exactly what I'm doing. This is my mistake. This is my challenge. So that too is part of the process. Sticking to the truth is a lot more important than having to follow through on any level of diplomacy. You only need to be diplomatic with people that you are paying or you're getting paid from. But if you're doing this as part and parcel of your duty, then the truth is the only thing that counts.
Another question, Serena.
Good morning, Dato Sri. I have a question. In my experience, there are people who have actually come forward to ask for a trespass. And I'm not really sure whether they're doing it because they're doing it for me or for my sake. So how do I actually genuinely get feedback from them?
The thing to do is to recognize what it is that you want to improve in your life. This is not about the person. This is essentially about you. You recognizing your parameters of growth and saying, okay, like in terms of driving, right? It doesn't matter whether that person is trying to, improve you or not. Can he provide you the skill sets that you need to acquire? If the driving instructor can drive and can drive well, then those are things you need to learn. Are you with me? So it doesn't really matter as to the personal intention of the person. The skill is more important. Are you with me? This is not a situation where you're going before a spiritual master. That's a different situation altogether. Here you're going for a specific knowledge or endeavor that you want to acquire a skill set. Therein, you focus on the skill, not the person. Sometimes the worst possible teachers can be the best possible mentors. Are you with me? I mean, to my recollection, some of my toughest teachers in school made me get the highest grades. Regardless of whether they had me in mind or not, they were just tough on the whole class. Unforgiving is the word. But regardless, I did well because I reacted to the actual environment that they created. And what I acquired was the skill. So don't worry about the teachers in your life. You are here to worry about the skills that you have to acquire, the knowledge you want to get. And those are things you must be very clear in your mind. This is what I want.
Thank you, Dato Sri. Yes. Mona, question?
Dato Sri, I have actually two questions. The first one is, how is Trespass different from mentoring? And the second one is, how to make sure that people we have given Trespass to don't abuse this privilege. Thank you.
Okay, so how is Trespass different from mentoring? Trespass and mentoring are in two different arenas, so to speak. And you have accepted that person as a mentor, the trespass is automatic. Are you with me? But the issue of giving trespass to someone like a teacher or a driving instructor or someone who's, basically has come in to teach you one specific thing, does not mean he's a mentor. Your driving instructor will never be your mentor. Are you with me? And he's not going to mentor you about your life, but he can teach you to drive. So, trespass is given on a instant basis, incident to incident basis, to a specific endeavor, to a specific knowledge. But in terms of mentoring, a person mentors you on your overall, and you give him total trespass to do that. So the difference is that you have to be very specific as to the area of knowledge you are applying it to. Now when it comes down to abuse, the person you are giving trespass to is teaching you something that you want to learn. A mentor is there to teach you sometimes of things you don't want to learn also. A mentor's ability to abuse you or not, or to treat you harshly or whatsoever, is very often part and parcel of the training. Like a coach. You know, when you're totally exhausted and you want to collapse, there's a time the coach says, one more time, get up, get up. Are you with me? And that is part and parcel of making you better. In terms of trespass and its abuse, it's related to if a driving instructor is teaching you driving, within that specifics, there's no issue. Are you with me? But if he is going to go beyond that to where it is not necessary, then you have to draw the line and say this is not acceptable. Are you with me? And that is very important for you to do.
Okay, Dato, amazing learning today. Thank you very much for your time. You know, as usual, you're always busy and still giving the network your time, and we are all very privileged that our teacher is still the same level of intensity the day I know you 20 years ago. And trespass, again, it's very important, not only in networking, but also in your family life, your social life, whatever. I mean, it starts there. So I guess this is the biggest lesson we can take, and this is the very fundamental initial thing we should start with our teams and all that, building a network. So thank you, Dato Sri, and guys, until we meet again for the next episode, keep watching. Take care.